Hey, I'm Jodie from the YouTube channel JustJodes, and I'm hosting this month's Betty Sleepover. I was definitely late with hitting puberty, so I was desperate to be wearing a bra and that kind of thing, and I wore a bra and I used to want to be shaving my legs and everything way before I probably should have been. I remember actually one of my friends in the science lesson actually did leak, and it was kind of one of them situations where she was like, can you check, like, see if I've leaked? And I was like, it's all over the stool. My first proper crush, I was in year 7, and it was a guy who was like kind of popular, but also he was really, really smart. But that for me, that was like love. And we did actually go out in year 7, yeah. And I genuinely remember I had like a notebook, and I planned our wedding and how many kids we were going to have and everything, yeah. So that was like my first. I genuinely thought I was in love when I was like 11, but you know, it was real. It was after a geography lesson. It was a big hyped up thing, and then it was so hyped that when it actually happened, it was just like awkward. Like, okay, that was that then, bye, see you later. There was no tongue, but it was still very awkward. I used to love all the sort of girl bands, like Girls Aloud, all those sort of classics. But actually growing up, I was always not really, I didn't really follow the charts, that kind of thing. Like, I always listened to my own thing, and because I used to do like performing, I was at theatre school, I'd be listening to like all my show tunes, and then all my friends would be listening to like really like cool music, and I always used to have to kind of pretend like I knew what they were on about, when really I was like, I'm just kind of at home listening to Mary Poppins, but you know. I remember there was a stage where, I mean, I don't know if it was just our school or what, but people would wear these sort of leg warmer type things, but on their arms. Like, yeah. And then everybody wanted to wear leg warmers at school as well. And we weren't allowed to wear them, but people would tuck their trousers in their leg warmers. And I also remember the first time that Ugg boots sort of came into fashion. And again, we weren't really allowed to wear them at school, but everyone would wear them. And if you didn't have a pair of, well, they weren't even real Uggs, but like if you didn't have a pair of like Primark Ugg boots on, then you may as well forget it. Chocolate. I don't know if it's a myth or what, but I'm all for it. I'm all for a bit of chocolate. Hot water bottles, just sort of pampering yourself a little bit, I think is important. It's all about sort of self-care and just giving yourself that extra little bit of me time. And yeah, and just sort of, also I think sleep is really important as well, because you can feel really quite run down around that time. So getting a good night's sleep and, you know, just keeping recharged is really important. That is definitely one of the things that I struggle with. But I mean, I guess when it comes to skin and stuff like that, it happens to all of us. It's not a big deal, you know, just sort of, I just kind of embrace it now. It's not a massive issue to me. I mean, at first I used to get quite down about it, but now I'm just kind of like, this is who I am, like, you know, a couple of spots, you know, it's no big deal. A little bit of concealer. You don't have to spend a fortune either. I think there's some really, really affordable concealers out there now. And I also think when it comes to sort of trying to cover up spots and that kind of thing, don't go too heavy. I think sometimes less is more when it comes to like concealer and stuff, because you don't want it to look sort of overly cakey. So just a little bit of concealer is usually absolutely fine. And also I would say that what you see is usually a million times worse than what everybody else sees.